This video, we're making something from the Disney Princess Healthy Treats cookbook that comes from Princess Jasmine. It's a dessert and it's called Aladdin Agrabah Love Cake. And there's a pretty picture of it right there. So this dessert is actually gluten-free. It uses unbleached almond flour, so it's good for you gluten-free people out there, and it's also vegetarian. And it's a little bit different. We'll say we're going to be using rose water and cardamom for our spices or our flavorings for this cake. So I think it'll be interesting to see how this turns out. Okay, so the first thing I did is I had this spring form pan here and I sprayed it with some cooking spray and I lined it with parchment paper as it said. And you can butter the dish as well. I just use like a nonstick spray specifically used for baked goods. Okay, so in this bowl here, I have some butter that I softened, some olive oil, and then I have some sugar as well as some sweetener. Now I don't give the exact measurements because of copyright concerns for everything, but I will say that the butter and the olive oil, it's a light olive oil, are the same number of tablespoons, and the sugar it was 2/3 cup regular sugar and 1/3 cup of a sweetener. And it says you could use monk fruit, allulose, or something else. I end up using allulose because that's what I have. I think swerve was the other thing. Okay, so now I'm going to mix this together until it is creamy. It says it should take about a minute. All right, I think that's nice and creamed together. The next step is I have to add eggs. Now there are 5 eggs and you're supposed to add them one at a time and then beat the mixture after adding each egg. All right, so here's how it looks after adding all the eggs. Now I'm going to add in a cup of non-fat Greek yogurt. All right, it said to beat the mixture until it's fluffy. It seems very fluffy to me, so I'm going to leave it and go because I don't want to overbeat it. Then we've got the cardamom. Just going to smell it. I love the smell of cardamom. I think it smells fantastic. It says to do 2 teaspoons of that. Snuff it again. Oh, it smells so good. Okay. I'm going to fold this together. No more hand mixer. And it does say you can use a whisk, but I just use the hand mixer because that's what I am better at than trying to whisk things by hand. Now I'm adding the baking powder. And it says just a pinch of salt, so I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit in there. And then the flour, the almond flour. There's a little over 2 cups of this that goes into that. All right, now it's time to fold this all together. All right, time to go into the pan. This is going to bake in the oven at 350 degrees for 30 to 40 minutes or until like the toothpick method where it comes out clean in the center. So here's the cake out of the oven. It'll take about 40 minutes. It's a little dark, but that's what I expected based on the picture. I'm going to let this cool for 10 minutes and we're going to make the syrup that we're going to drizzle on top of it while this cools some. So in this pan here, I've got some orange juice and some honey, and I'm supposed to heat this until it reaches a boil over medium heat, and then I'll turn it down to medium low. My mixture has come to a boil, so I'm going to let it simmer for 5 minutes. Then I'm going to poke some holes in this, and we're going to pour it over top. Now, the only thing I'm not sure about is it didn't say when to take the springform pan side off, so I think I'm going to try that real quick here while we're letting this finish up here. Okay, so this had simmered for about 5 minutes. I took it off the heat really quickly, and then I added in another tablespoon of rose water. So I'm gonna put this off to the side. I'm going to focus back on my cake. All right, so before I pour the syrup on the cake, it says to poke some holes in this cake. I left it kind of on the bottom of the springform pan on there. It still seems a little delicate. I'm a little nervous. That middle was wobbly, but it came out clean, so hopefully it's okay. I put this plate underneath here for now just to kind of help catch any syrup. But first I need to poke some holes for the syrup. And it says to use like a wooden skewer, and I just have this it's like a plastic chopstick so that I use. So I'm just going to use that because I think that'll make the nice size holes that I need. So I'm just going to pour this over top. Before we can taste test this, it says to let it cool for about an hour, at least. So it's been a little over an hour and I'm ready to taste test this. And I'm worried it is a little soft and it could just be the mixture. It came out clean, so I hope it's cooked enough, but we're going to try it and see how it tastes. So it's really actually kind of tasty. The rose water and the cardamom are there, but they blend together nicely. If you don't like floral-y things, this might not be for you, but I kind of like them, so I like the way they do it. I do think the inside probably could have cooked a little bit longer. I think, it does seem a little bit softer compared to the outside. It doesn't quite seem as cake-like. That's probably on me. Summary and final thoughts on the Aladdin Agrabah love cake. I wonder why Aladdin's in the title. I guess Jasmine made it for Aladdin. I only say it because it's a princess treat. You think it'd be Jasmine's love cake, but I guess Jasmine made it for Aladdin I love. Okay, anyway, let's try and go on to what we're actually here to talk about. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I liked that the rose and the cardamom, how it worked together. I think they balance each other well. The rose was a little heavy. If you have never had rose water or that flavor, this is something you might want to try something else before you do this. Or, if you've had it, you don't like it, then this is definitely not for you. My husband enjoyed it as well. He said he thought the rose was a little potent though. He would have liked it maybe to be a little bit more neutralized. And I think the secret to that is if you don't want a lot of rose, would be not to add the rose water to the syrup. When you make the syrup with the honey and the orange juice, maybe don't add that extra rose water in there, just leave it in the cake. I think that could be all the difference of toning that down a little bit. But I thought the cardamom came through with it and did very, very well. So again, if you don't like those spices, this might not be for you, but I did enjoy it. The only other thing I would fix if I were to make it again, and I'll get to that here shortly, is I probably would bake it for a little bit longer. Mine was still very, very soft and a little wobbly, but I still enjoyed it and did like it, and it was cooked. It wasn't raw batter. I think it was just a little underbaked. So let's do the ranking. The first are the ingredients on a scale of 1 to 5. That's a combination of how hard are these to find and cost. I'm giving this a 4. The rose water was a little hard for me to find. I actually had to order it online. The almond flour does cost more than regular flour, so there's a little bit more cost involved with this one, and that one ingredient that's a little trickier to find. That's why I ranked up there. Side note, you can decorate the cake with edible rose petals and pistachios. I didn't do that, but again, if you wanted to do that for the look, that would also add to your cost. Difficulty level on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being easy and 5 being difficult. I'm going to put it at like a 2.5 to 3. I think a 3 is probably a good one. It's not hard. There are different steps involved, but you have to be careful with like mixing it and whipping it. You don't want to, beat out too much air so that it rises, but there's a little bit of a balance there with it. But I don't think it's that super hard. It's not much different than most basic cake recipes. You're just using a few different ingredients. Now, would I make this again on a scale of 1 to 5? 1 is never and 5 is absolutely. I'm gonna give it a solid 4. I actually enjoyed it enough that I think I would consider making it again, especially because I have the rose water, so I might as well. But it's probably not gonna be something I would make often, but I did enjoy it enough that, yeah, I think I might make this again.